On the day of the engagement, the diamond ring Marcus placed on my finger was too small. He mocked. I ordered 2 diamond rings, one your size, one Chloe's. Now it seems she and I are a match made in heaven. I was thunderstruck. Was this wedding ring just a childish game of chance? He leaned in close, his smile chilling. The ring was in a blind box, symbolizing that we're not meant to be husband and wife. Tears streamed uncontrollably down my face. Marcus pulled Chloe, who was wearing a gown, into his arms and affectionately embraced her. He sent a text message saying, "If you agree to be my secret lover, I'll give you back your ring." It was just a ring meant to publicly humiliate me. I didn't want it. I became the biggest joke in our circle. Marcus and Chloe were a perfect couple. After a while, he asked, "Is she still refusing to be my lover?" "Mr. Marcus, she's already married." The engagement party continued amidst clinking glasses and lively chatter. Marcus put his arm around Chloe's shoulder, gazing at her with deep affection under the watchful eyes of everyone present. "Chloe, thank you for accepting my proposal." He knelt on one knee and took out the ring that hadn't fit me earlier. Chloe covered her mouth, her eyes welling up with tears. Marcus steadied her hand and slipped the perfectly sized ring onto her ring finger, then kissed the back of her hand with deep affection. Chloe pulled Marcus to his feet, and they embraced in a passionate kiss, like a pair of lovebirds. As everyone applauded, my heart felt torn and shredded by an invisible hand. Only by forcing my eyes wide open could I stop the tears. The noisy chatter around me reached my ears. "Look, they're the real couple. Why are you so dressed up when you have no place here? Trying to steal the spotlight? You should know your place. Still trying to separate people who are in love? Shameless. Still refusing to leave." The mocking voices continued to echo in my ears. From the moment the ring didn't fit and Marcus embraced Chloe, I became the laughingstock of the entire party. My body swayed. I scanned my surroundings, needing to escape. The next moment, Chloe, holding Marcus's hand, pointed at me. "Who is that girl? Why did you just give her my ring?" Marcus strode over, and my heart was in utter chaos. The man I had loved for 10 years, and been in a relationship with for 6 months, walked toward me, beaming. My heart gave a sudden leap. Suddenly, a weight settled on my shoulder, and he shook me. "Luna, she's my buddy, my good friend. She came dressed so beautifully to my engagement party today to give me a surprise. She traveled a long way to be here." A bucket of cold water seemed to pour over my head. I shivered, trembling uncontrollably. I wanted to say something, but my lips trembled, unable to utter a single word. Chloe beamed. "What a great friendship. Ms. Luna, thank you for coming to my fiancé's and my engagement party. We'd like to treat you to dinner later." Marcus's hand on my shoulder tightened, a clear warning not to say anything out of line. I tried to suppress my sniffles, forcing myself not to appear so distraught. "No need for dinner. I have other plans. I wish you both happiness." I had thought it was my engagement party, but it turned out to be a public display of affection for Marcus and Chloe. I stumbled out the door, fleeing in disarray. That night, the door opened, and Marcus quietly walked up to me. He pulled out a ring. "This one is yours. It's identical to Chloe's ring." I paused, slightly stunned. He slipped the ring onto my ring finger, as tenderly as a prince proposing. I quickly pulled my hand back, but he gripped my wrist tightly. "Be good. Wear it." My tears soaked into the pillow. "Marcus, you were the one who said you wanted to get engaged to me, to have a future with me. You can't use my feelings for you to publicly humiliate me." He listened for a moment, then gently kissed my forehead. "I'm sorry. I didn't know the blind box was messed up, so I came specifically to make things right with you." I looked at him. "Make things right how?" He gazed at me with the same deep affection he had shown before yesterday. "I won't break up with you, so sign this agreement with me." I looked at the agreement, my self-respect eroding piece by piece until it was shattered. "So, you want to keep me as a mistress? To keep our relationship a secret affair? Marcus, do you know that in Chloe's eyes, you and I are just friends?" Marcus wrapped his arms around my waist. He whispered in my ear, "Please stop making a fuss. As long as we love each other, that's all that matters." I felt a bit dazed, but instinctively pushed his hand away. I came to my senses, much clearer and more rational. "I refuse." Marcus stared at by me, flared up in anger. He snapped, "Then what do you want me to do?" I froze, a sense of calm settling over me after a raging storm. What blind box? It was all fake. He didn't care about me at all. He loved Chloe, who had returned from studying abroad. So, the blind box ring, that was all specifically arranged by you? He didn't answer directly, simply offering me a tissue, acting as if nothing had happened. Marcus, please leave for now. I need to think. He spoke almost coercively. The moment dawn breaks tomorrow, I expect you to be just as you were before. After he left, I dragged my exhausted body and made a phone call. I need to book a plane ticket abroad, as soon as possible. I had wasted the best 10 years of my life chasing a man who was rotten on the inside. I had poured out too much love. I couldn't pull it back so easily. The plane ticket was for the next afternoon. As I was about to leave, my phone rang. Hello, is this MS? Luna? Please come to Grand Plaza. We need your cooperation with something. I rushed over. Someone was waiting for me at the plaza. They approached me immediately, saying, "You've damaged a valuable item. MS. Luna, we need your cooperation with the investigation." I frowned. Damaged what? A staff member pulled up some surveillance footage for me. A valuable exhibit had accidentally been knocked to the ground, shattering into pieces. And on that hand, an identical ring flashed into view. The exhibit had been auctioned and was worth hundreds of millions. The scent of a conspiracy clung to me, chilling me to the bone. I denied it. The person in this video isn't me. The staff and police officers fixed their gaze on me. Madam, your ring is identical to the one in the surveillance footage. We need you to cooperate with the investigation. My eyes swept over Chloe. She smiled, meeting my gaze, but she wasn't wearing a ring. Alarm bells went off in my head. I pointed at Chloe. It's her. She has an identical ring too. To prove I hadn't been there, I opened my phone to show evidence. I've been home since yesterday afternoon and haven't even walked 1,000 steps. And I have someone who can vouch for me. I wasn't here. I'm innocent. Realizing I was being framed, I gradually calmed down. I had a solid alibi. There was no need to rush my explanation. Chloe walked up to me, her tone hostile. MS. Luna, are you accusing me of damaging the exhibit? I calmly retorted. If not you, then who? Me? We had only met yesterday, and this confrontation today was not something I wanted. This animosity between us was all because of a man. So, I continued to deal with the police, ignoring Chloe. Half an hour later, Marcus arrived. As I was providing the police with the last piece of evidence, he violently pulled my shoulder. I cried out in pain as my phone fell to the ground, its screen shattering into pieces. Luna, look at the mess you've made. I spun around abruptly and saw Chloe, her face pale and drained of color. She leaned against Marcus, sobbing uncontrollably. Before I could even ask a question, Marcus ordered me, no matter what happened, you have to apologize to Chloe. Apologize? His blind defense of her made me want to laugh and cry at the same time. Are you sure you want me to apologize? I had an alibi and evidence of 2 identical rings. Marcus's eyes darkened. He whispered in my ear, "It's not a big deal. Chloe can't take the blame for this." So, he already knew what had happened but was forcing me to take the blame. Once again, the tall, handsome man in front of me seared my eyes. I couldn't help but feel a pang of bitterness. Marcus, what if I refuse? Meeting his gaze, my heart trembled. I had never imagined confronting him like this. My love had always flowed entirely toward him, but had always been dismissive of those he didn't love. And now he was this cruel to me. Luna, Chloe is my fiancé, and you're my best buddy. I hope you won't disappoint me. Don't make me lose you. My best friend. He drew out the word friend at the end. I couldn't control myself and slapped him, my palm stinging. Marcus, you're dreaming. The next second, Chloe lunged at me, pinning me down. Don't you dare touch my Marcus. I forcefully pushed her away. She cried out, clutching her wrist, her face contorted in pain. Marcus urgently summoned a doctor's assistant to tend to Chloe's sprained wrist. After settling Chloe, Marcus grabbed my collar forcefully and warned me in my ear, "I'll let that slap slide. I can afford to pay for the exhibit, but you will apologize and admit you did it." He added, "Chloe is preparing for a government position. She can't be affected by this." Chloe couldn't be affected, so he used preparing for a government position as an excuse for her? Did he even know she was preparing for a government position? The bloody wound in my heart was torn open again, and I started to convulse uncontrollably. Yet I forced myself to stand firm and meet his gaze. "Marcus, does it really have to be this way?" My voice was thick with an uncontrollable sniffle. "Yes, You need to apologize, admit you did this, and agree to the terms of the agreement. Otherwise, I won't hesitate to tell your parents about what happened these past 2 days. For the first time, he sent chills down my spine. I shuffled backward, putting distance between us. Looking at him again, I realized my love for him all these years had been ridiculously ironic. My parents were indeed my weak spot. Their health wasn't good, and I always only shared good news, not bad. I had even kept the broken engagement from yesterday a secret. Resigned, I relaxed my body and mind, letting go of all emotions. Fine, I admit it. I damaged the exhibit. I admit, I framed a mess. Chloe, checking the time, I saw there was still an hour until my flight, and I didn't want to breathe in this toxic atmosphere any longer. Marcus looked quite pleased. He reached out a hand to steady my arm. Don't be angry anymore. See? As long as you admit it, I can cover for you. You'll have no worries. I pulled my arm away from his grasp and calmly said, Marcus, thank you for breaking off the engagement. Thank you for choosing someone else. Otherwise, I might have only discovered what kind of man he truly was after marrying him. By then, it would have been too late. Marcus froze. What do you mean? I didn't want to explain, but he was determined to get to the bottom of it, his eyes following me intently, until I saw Chloe's figure approaching. I reminded him, your future wife is coming. Make sure she doesn't notice anything about our relationship. After had her wrist treated, she came over, glanced at me, and said disdainfully, MS. Luna, you just need to admit your mistake and compensate for the damage. Marcus gently held her shoulder, feeling sorry for her. This smear campaign severed all my remaining good feelings for Marcus. Just as I turned to leave, Chloe's voice suddenly rang out. Marcus, please take her ring off. Okay? Marcus hesitated for a few seconds, then still moved to remove it. He gave a forceful tug, and I couldn't break free. He then pulled the ring off my finger and handed it to Chloe. Chloe flung the ring, sending it flying in an arc. I picked up my shattered phone and left without looking back. A month later, I received a message from a classmate I hadn't spoken to in a long time. Luna, are you really getting married? I replied, surprised. I have no plans to get married right now, and I won't be. But they replied mysteriously, I get it. I get it. Old rivals are destined to meet again. Thinking of that person, an indescribable feeling welled up in my heart. I've already broken off the engagement. I'm not marrying Marcus. We'll never be together. My old classmate sent an ellipsis. Then another message. Who's Marcus? Aren't you marrying Ethan? It wasn't a rumor that I was marrying Marcus, but Ethan. I racked my brain countless times but couldn't recall who Ethan was. I asked my old classmate for Ethan's contact information. They were shocked but still gave me the number. I dialed immediately, but they hung up. The second time. The third time, they still hung up. I sent a text message, Mr. Ethan, could we schedule a time to meet? The reply came quickly, sure. How about tomorrow at noon? I arrived promptly at the designated spot and saw a familiar man, but I couldn't place him. He had prominent, well-defined features, a somewhat familiar face, but I couldn't recall who he was. He extended a large hand toward me, and I instinctively reached out to shake it. Excuse me, are you? He was indeed familiar, but I just couldn't remember. He politely said, please, have a seat first. He pulled out my chair for me, and after I was seated, he took his own seat with a fluid, graceful motion. Truly a gentleman. Ethan, the classmate who sat behind you in university. I froze as several vivid images quickly formed in my mind. In university, there indeed was a classmate who sat behind me in class. I remembered now. Ethan, it's you. How did you change so much? I took a closer look. He was completely different from how I remembered him. His ear tips turned red, and a sincere smile appeared in his eyes. After all these years, people change. I suddenly remembered the marriage rumors, but now that I was facing him, I didn't know how to bring it up. Ethan, I wanted to ask you about something. About my marriage. Ethan paused for 3 seconds, then quickly took out his phone and scrolled through his pictures. I saw you at a wine tasting event last week. At the event, I was wearing a black gown, holding a glass of red wine. He was in a vintage blue suit, standing behind me. We were very close, and someone took a photo of us from the side. You couldn't see our eyes, but we looked like a very intimate couple. Ethan explained. It's because of this photo that people mistakenly thought we were getting married. I'm sorry if it caused you any trouble. His voice was rich and pleasant to listen to. My phone vibrated. An unfamiliar international number was calling again. I hung up, but it called again, and I hung up again. It rang for a long time. Who is it? Luna. It's me. Let me tell you, that Ethan isn't a good person. I gestured with my eyes that I needed to take a call. After leaving my seat, I spoke with a hint of anger. Marcus, are you ever going to stop? Luna, are you trying to find a rebound so quickly because you can't let me go? Remember, you signed a relationship agreement with me. You're mine. If you go hooking up with others behind my back, I won't hesitate to show them the agreement. The word agreement pierced my heart like a dagger. I didn't sign it. His voice on the other end was frantic. You didn't sign it, but I can forge your signature. It'll be identical. My blood ran cold. My phone slipped from my grasp, and I was overcome with panic. Ethan picked up the phone for me. Are you all right? I shook my head. I'm fine. I'll head back now. I was in no mood to reminisce. Ethan looked like he wanted to say something, but I declined his offer to walk me out. Back home, Marcus's message arrived. Time is running out. I need to see you by this time tomorrow. The warning in his words was strong. My mind a mess. I bought a plane ticket and flew back home that very night. After a month apart, Marcus's eyes looked unfamiliar, filled with intense possessiveness. He looked as if he wanted to devour me. I pushed him away several times, but he remained motionless, trying to violate me. Slap. My palm went numb. Enough. Marcus, let's part ways amicably. Marcus gripped my wrist, his eyes turning unnervingly sick. Luna, you hit me again? At that moment, I truly loathed him. The nauseating feeling left me with no patience. Marcus, you're trying to control me with that agreement. Aren't you afraid Chloe will find out? You're about to marry her, yet you're still stringing me along. At the mention of Chloe, Marcus's eyes darkened, but his grip on me tightened. It won't affect anything. He moved closer, pressing me down. An overwhelming sorrow welled up inside me. Marcus, I don't love you anymore. Marcus stopped, frowning. There was pain in his eyes, and his voice held a hint of sorrow. You don't love me? You don't love me? I stated firmly. Yes, I don't love you anymore. Then you like that, Ethan? Marcus's grip on my hand was almost out of control. That's none of your business. Marcus laughed maniacally, his laughter somewhat distorted. He stopped touching me, instead warning me sternly. You can only have me as your man. Marcus had become so unfamiliar, completely on the verge of madness. But the rumors about Ethan and me weren't true to begin with. I tentatively asked, Marcus, do you like me? Marcus's face suddenly changed. He quickly denied it. You're not worthy. With that, he quickly got up and left, his retreating figure looking almost like he was fleeing in disarray. After thinking it over, I decided to give Ethan a heads up. Some things beyond my control might happen during this time. I apologize in advance. His breathing on the phone was heavy. Luna, I don't care about any of that. I want to tell you, I like you. I've liked you since we were kids. He spoke cautiously, his breathing barely audible afterward. I couldn't process it immediately. I felt completely out of my depth. I think we both need some time to cool down. After the call ended, Ethan sent me some old photos, snippets of my life at university. He had been so careful not to get too close. He had also written many love letters that he never gave me. The pages yellowed and old. Back then, my heart and eyes were only for Marcus. No one else. Give me a chance to be your support. If you don't like me, I'll give you your freedom after a year. I need to think about it. Faced with such a sudden declaration of love, I found it hard to stay calm, especially a flash marriage. Looking at the time, it was less than a month until the wedding. Marcus had left me with too much baggage, catching me completely off guard. Ethan rushed back and took me to a speech at our alma. As a donor of equipment, he stepped onto the podium and spoke eloquently. The younger students around us whispered to each other, Ethan, he's our alumnus, and he's so handsome. Not only is he handsome, but he's also kind-hearted. Every year after graduation, he gives scholarships to outstanding students, and he's not pretentious at all. I just received a scholarship for $100,000. It's just enough to send home for my mom's medical treatment. The praises were endless, reminding me of a saying. When you get married, you must find a truly good person. Even if you don't love them, things will still be good. I began to watch Ethan intently. Under the spotlights, Every glance and smile from him was elegant and composed. Every word he spoke was lively and humorous, inviting applause and interaction. He was a man who truly shined. It was laughable that before, my eyes had only been on Marcus, and I hadn't realized other men could be so outstanding. After the speech, I applauded him, genuinely and sincerely. Ethan didn't come down. He spoke in a rather serious tone. I hope there will be no more school bullying at this university. If such incidents happen again in the future, the students involved should be expelled. His gaze swept over, and the moment our eyes met, my thoughts raced back in time. Many years ago, at this university, I was the one being bullied. The entire class targeted me. My homework was torn up. My uniform was cut, and my bed was doused with water so I couldn't sleep. Later, I don't know how, but everyone who bullied me was punished. The ringleaders were expelled, and those who followed along had to write apology letters. Someone told me Marcus had helped, but then Marcus seemed to forget all about it. Because of that incident, I fell hopelessly in love with Marcus. I never imagined that only today would I learn it was Ethan. He was the one who stopped the school bullying. He personally handled it. After he stepped down from the podium, I quietly asked, "Were you the one who stopped the school bullying?" Ethan blurted out, "Back then, you know all about it?" My eyes reddened, and my nose burned. "Why didn't you tell me back then? If I had known then, I wouldn't have fallen in love with the wrong person, and I wouldn't have wasted all these years." Ethan gave a wry smile. "Back then, I was really heavy, 200 pounds. A tear fell from my eye, but I thought it was someone else." Ethan just smiled without replying, but I understood what his eyes conveyed. He wouldn't disturb me. I said sincerely, "Ethan, no need to think about it anymore. I'm willing." A flicker of surprise crossed Ethan's eyes. 10 days before the wedding, Chloe asked to meet me. When we met again, Chloe looked haggard, but her tone was still arrogant. "Luna, you're Marcus's best buddy?" After a self-deprecating laugh, she continued, "Luna, you win." I was stunned. I had lost to her long ago. When had I ever won? Chloe sneered. "Don't act so surprised. Marcus can't forget you at all. You probably don't know this, but that ring I threw away at the mall? He kept it. Honestly, your relationship isn't ordinary at all. I noticed it a long time ago. Marcus was just slow to realize it." Love that was slow to realize? I never thought this kind of drama would happen to me, let alone be told by my former rival. Chloe's tone was despondent, almost self-pitying. I observed her carefully. She had indeed lost a lot of weight recently. Just as I was about to speak, I noticed Marcus approaching in the distance. The moment our eyes met, he quickened his pace, not even sparing Chloe a glance. As he got closer, the sparkle in his eyes was undeniable. I slowly shifted my feet. As I stepped back, he spoke. "I'm sorry, Luna. I was wrong." Those words made me dizzy, my heart sinking suddenly as if being dragged down by something. I stood stunned for a moment. Then Marcus's tone turned affectionate again. "Luna, I'm sorry. I failed you before, but now, I finally understand my true feelings. You're the one I love." Such intense declarations of love made my scalp tingle with embarrassment. They shouldn't have been happening. I quickly composed myself, forcing myself to remain calm. "Marcus, I'm not a tool for you to hurt Chloe, and I don't believe I have any charm that would make you apologize." I subtly indicated with my eyes that Chloe was still nearby, yet stood very close to me, his tall frame shielding me from the cold wind. His gaze and tone grew even more earnest. "You have to believe I truly made a mistake. Luna, I'm not lying to you." He extended both hands, attempting to take mine. I quickly put my hands behind my back and took a large step backward. "Please don't do this. It makes me uncomfortable. And also, we should meet less often in the future. I don't want to ruin your relationship." How could such a tumultuous engagement party be treated as if nothing had happened? 10 years of feelings wouldn't make me lose my memories, but they would allow me to let go. Marcus frowned, clutching his chest. His eyes reddened. "Luna, Chloe and I broke up." "We broke up yesterday," I replied. "Relationships have their ups and downs. There's nothing remarkable about it. I'm leaving." I was truly afraid of being further entangled. The weather was a bit cold, and I felt a strong aversion to this awkward, belated situation. I quickly hailed a car. Sitting in the car, my gaze swept over Marcus. Those eyes vividly reminded me of how I used to look at him, with such deep affection. But it was too late. I never look back. The car drove far away, and I saw Marcus still running after it in the rearview mirror. Chloe was on the ground, hugging her knees. Why bother making such a spectacle of themselves? Soon, the wedding day arrived. On the wedding day, I was still a bit nervous. After all, it was a flash marriage. Even though I knew Ethan was a good person and had helped me, and he liked me a lot, there was still a huge class gap between us. The family was an old money family, while I only came from a middle-class family. When I was with Marcus before, the pressure, insecurity, and love were equally heavy, making it impossible for me to love him freely. And now, with this flash marriage, he was also the heir to an influential family. Knowing my place, I discussed a 1-year marriage term with him. Within that year, we wouldn't be intimate. We would only act the part for outsiders. Ethan held the agreement I had signed, his eyes gleaming. All right, I'll also abide by my words and actions. My scalp tingled. The agreement he drafted contained many small conditions, all meant to constrain the husband. These small conditions outlined the everyday ways a husband should dote on his wife. For instance, the husband calling daily, changing his terms of address, and reporting his schedule to his wife every day. I gave an awkward smile. All right, whatever you prefer. He took my hand and led me toward the wedding hall. I had expected a simple, normal wedding. I had no idea Ethan had invited so many media guests. The wedding venue was decorated to the tune of tens of millions, and everyone, from the bridesmaids and groomsmen to the servers, were famous male and female models. He had even hired an A-list celebrity performer, my idol of many years, who sang all my favorite songs. My parents were meticulously looked after by the Ethan family, treated without the slightest neglect. The wedding I had only dreamed of was brought to life by Ethan. I couldn't help but be deeply moved. As I was putting on the wedding ring, Marcus arrived. He wore a designer suit, walking elegantly, standing in everyone's line of sight. His eyes were fixed only on me. Luna, are you really willing to marry Ethan? You don't have a foundation of love, but we do. Don't you remember? You've loved me for 10 years? Everyone's gazes converged on us three, scanning us intently. I clenched my hands, feeling embarrassed as my past was publicly exposed. I knew Marcus wouldn't give up easily, but I didn't expect him to twist the knife at such a critical moment. Luna, don't get married. Come with me. I moved closer to Ethan. Ethan turned sideways, shielding me. He challenged Marcus. Luna is my wife. She doesn't want to go with you. As for a foundation of love, she might not have one for me right now, but I've loved her for many years, even over 10 years. I have a foundation of love for her. I originally thought you would treat her well, but with that blind box ring, and slandering her for damaging the exhibit, you lost her long ago. I was startled to realize Ethan had loved me for so long, but I never imagined he would confess it so openly in front of everyone, and he knew every single detail about Marcus and me, yet he didn't mind in the slightest. My emotions were a tangled mess. I was deeply moved that in this moment, someone was protecting me, helping to cover up my scarred past. Marcus also looked quite surprised. He continued, "But don't you have an arranged marriage?" Ethan scoffed. "It's just an arranged marriage. If I don't agree, then it's not an arranged marriage." My heart has never wavered. So, this is how someone truly protects the person they love, completely unwavering and devoted. I had never experienced being treated with such wholehearted devotion before, but at this moment, I felt it deeply. Tears streamed down my face. I clutched Ethan's arm, sobbing, I will do anything." Just now, the officiant was asking if I would marry him. Now, my "I do" was truly heartfelt. I had thought Ethan would be prejudiced against me if he found out about my past experiences, but he knew everything and still cared for me with all his heart. This sincere, fervent love warmed me to my core. Marcus was escorted away by the Ethan family's security guards. He kept looking back at me, his eyes red, hurt, and filled with despair. After left in dejection, our wedding officially began, and my happiness finally began. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.